Welcome to another episode from our show, Anything Goes. Today's culture and media either downplays the role of a woman or actually plays it in such a way that downplays the man in the home. Like if you, for example, watch Everybody Loves Raymond, every single woman is very dominant and every single man was placed down. And in today's show, although the time may be short, I would like to dissect with you and with my friends here in the studio what is the true identity of the woman role. So Marianne, Sarah, and Chris, thank you for coming again.
Pleasure.
And as I said in the introduction of this episode, what is the woman role in friendship, marriage, church? And every time you tell me something, try to compare it to what the world view of the woman in that particular role. Having you, by the way, does not underestimate your presence at all, because I want to see what a man perceives correctly the woman role. And I know you are engaged to our beautiful young girl here, Sarah, so it's going to give us a very nice flavor having both of you together. But let me start with you, Marianne. In a friendship, a group of friends, boys and girls, I am making advances to you. What is the woman role or view or concept or limits or constraints to that relation? Is it the man role or is it the woman role? Who does really the driving here?
Wait, so is it a friendship or?
It's just a friendship. And let us even make it not your age, younger than your age. Let's say teenage.
Okay, so the teenagers are friends and then one is making advancements towards the other.
To the girl.
Okay, the guys.
And is the girl here has a certain role that she should play where the world really negates that role, or how do you see it?
Well, I think during the teenage years, it's more about peer pressure and that it's very cool to have a boyfriend and that, everyone kind of does it. And so why isn't a guy liking you if you're not dating? So that's kind of the pressure on a teenage girl. I think her role is different, obviously, is that if you have that friend, he shouldn't get close enough where he thinks you're, either borderline flirting with him or that you're trying to initiate a relationship, because then it can easily cross the line. And so your role would be to kind of put an end, if necessary, to that friendship.
And I'm not quite familiar with many of the movies coming out for teenage girls now, but I see many previews that this is not true in at least media today. Can you comment on that?
Which is not true.
The Christian role of a young girl in a friendship versus what is portrayed in the media. I'm not sure, Chris, are you familiar with some of the movies geared towards younger girls? Or no? You don't have that?
I'm not really sure.
How about
that.
when you deal with the high school girls? Do you hear any about these from them?
Well, there is no role when it comes
Whatsoever.
to media. Yeah, if anything, they're having like babies in those movies. Like, no, just straight out. They're all in different relationships every other week. They hook up with their boyfriends and, take it to the limit.
So Sarah, again, I want to finalize our thoughts about the woman role in a friendship. And a friendship could be a work-related, or I'm progressing it now, or just a teenage relation. Do you see that the girl is the one who puts the brakes, or both, or what? I mean, how do you see the girl role?
In the media?
In the media versus
in
our society.
Okay. In the media, it's like the girl puts the brakes, you know, if she doesn't feel that the time is right or something, like ridiculous things like that. Like it's not ever about it being something for, you know, when you're married. It's just about like when you're ready and when you feel that you love the person, and just really like fantastical ideas like that. Like, so yeah, that's the woman's role. When she's ready and when she wants to, she does whatever she wants. There's nothing really stopping her. And in some cases, the parents are even like giving the condoms.
Yeah.
So really, that's what's happening in the media. In our, you know, like you know, what's supposed to be the Christian, you know, where God is centered in the girl and woman's life. What's stopping her from going that extra step is her love for Christ and God, and wanting to keep herself her body sacred until the time is.
And Chris, can you comment on the girl role in maintaining the purity or chastity of a couple versus the man or both of them? I mean, everyone is called to be pure and chaste. But since we are discussing today the women role, I want to see your view of how would you, as a man, forget about your Chris Awad today, as a Christian man, what attracts you to a girl in that department, and in the same time, what is happening outside us?
Well, I'll tell you, in terms of a Christian perspective, I can tell you that a woman's role in the purity of a relationship is so key, because I feel like with the way that we're brought up, made up in terms of our genetics, like I feel like the guy, he doesn't really think things through in terms of purity sometimes. Like he might be more, you know, in the moment, where, and not really looking at the big picture, where the girl that is pure and that is always keeping the purity of the relationship in mind is going to look beyond the temporary situation and say, like, if they're in a situation like if it's causing them maybe to kiss or something, to the guy, it's like, it's hard for them immediately to see, okay, why this is not important. But a girl, I feel, that is in the right state of mind can say, listen, let's get out of this situation, because this is going to help, this is going to prevent us from getting to the goal we need to be at. So I think in a Christian perspective, having the women's role of being the more of the overall caretaker of the purity, although the guy, of course, needs to be mindful of that too, but I feel like the girl's role is so important in being even more so, more involved in the purity. Not more involved in the purity, but more conscious of it, always. I think that's a good thing. And in the media today, both of them lost their minds. The guy is thinking, let's just take care of things now, and the girl's thinking, let's just take care of things yesterday.
Like, I'm not disagreeing with him on that. I kind of am. But I think that's what gives guys excuses now, is that, you know, I'm the one that's sexually driven, and so I'm the one with, you know, that has all this like built up energy and built up testosterone, and so leave it on the woman to kind of, you know.
We're not leaving it on the woman,
I'm sorry, I'm not
sweet
done
friend.
with my
We're
point
not
yet,
leaving it on the women.
you know, kind of just like, you know, she has the role of, you know, kind of taking us out of this place, as opposed to the man who's actually supposed to be the priest of the eventual family, right?
Hunter-gatherer. Hunter-gatherer.
The priest.
I have no idea what you're saying. So I'm with you now. Go ahead.
Who's going to be the priest of this family, and he's the one who's going to, like, kind of keep the relationship pure. I think it needs to be evenly distributed, where they both are taking responsibility for keeping it pure.
Sure, absolutely. We are not disagreeing at all with the necessity of both of them to live the pure life and the chastity. But we want our young girls to know that they have a major responsibility in every relation, whether she is a friend in a group, whether she is a wife, a fiancée, a worker in workplace, a mother. Her magnitude of work in any of these circumstances is humongous. That doesn't at all lessen the importance of a man in a relation or remove his responsibility either. But we want the rock solid girls, that they grow to become rock solid wives, mothers. And then we are so happy that we have so many good kids coming and growing in their faith. Let us move to a higher level. In engagement in marriage, role of a woman. Sarah.
Well, okay, in the world's perspective, I think that the responsibility grows, obviously. You know, it goes from just like living a life of like, oh, hook up to boyfriend, and not really caring, not really having the responsibility in mind. But when it comes to engagement and marriage, that's when things tend to get a little bit serious. But at the same time, that's probably when the boyfriend or the girlfriend move in together. So purity is out the window, obviously, in the world's perspective. But in the Christian perspective, engagement is when you're building the foundation for the marriage. And if that's going to be shaken by impurity and like and just like immorality, then that might be a reflection on the marriage, and that's why we're advised to keep it pure and chastity until that time of marriage, where you know the man and the
and
woman
do you see
become one.
do you see the woman the lady during the engagement period has the same role that the man plays or more? In your perspective, I mean, Chris may disagree, but I still want to hear
In terms of what, though?
in terms of maintaining purity, chastity, in terms of, for example, let us say even planning finances. I want you to tell me what's your role and what's his role.
Well, in terms of the chastity and whatever, I don't think it changes, and the purity, it doesn't really necessarily change. The finances and making decisions and, you know, you're setting up your household. So that sort of you're building, you're sort of, you're building that for the future. So the man is the head of the household, and obviously he doesn't do everything, and the woman is not like his little like pet kind of thing. But you're sort of setting that up for how you want it to be in the future.
Correct.
So if the man wants, believes he should be in charge of the finances, then that's how, that needs to be agreed upon. But the engagement period is so important to make those decisions.
Mariana, I would like to ask you a question about the women's role in the church. And I'm asking you not what you are seeing today, but what you are wishing to have as a woman in the church. What's your role and what your role should be in the church?
I think something that stands out from my own servants when I was growing up is two key things. One would be strength and one would be wisdom. And so each of the servants that I'm thinking about were able to kind of lead their life in a very dignified way. And so their example, everything that they advised was said out of wisdom, was said through a relationship that they had with God. And so I knew that I was able to trust everything that they said. And I think it's, for us now, our role would be to kind of just grow in that relationship with God so we can gain wisdom, we can ask for wisdom, gain it, and we can be able to kind of be the servants that they were to us when we were young.
So you see a woman as a servant, and you see her, I'm sure, as a wife and a mother. Sarah, how do you typically see that in the media or in the world? The woman as a mother and as a wife?
Traditionally, the woman is a nurturer and like...
Gatherer. Hunter-gatherer.
That's the man. But the woman is the nurturer. She's the one that gives the whole household and the family and takes care of that. But in terms of that. But now it's really it's shifting. There's a major shift. Women are not, some women are, but it's not the traditional role. Women are much more invested in their careers. Many are not getting married. It's just whatever sort of you want to do, however you want to see your life.
Okay. In the Bible, there were many women that they attained several types of roles. And I wonder if any of you could remember any of them.
Ruth.
Ruth. So she was what? The major role of Ruth.
Loyal?
So loyal, she's a wife, and she was also a caregiver to her mother-in-law, and eventually became a great-great-great-grandmother for our Lord Jesus Christ. Other women.
Esther.
Esther, she was what?
Queen.
She was queen. So she really played somewhat the role of a wife, but she was a very excellent type of a working woman, loyal to her God, loyal to her people, and played the role that even men could not reach her level. And thanks to her, all her nation was saved. Any other women?
Saint Mary.
Of course, the mother of all, Saint Mary,
Theotokos.
the Theotokos. And what role did she play?
Obedience.
Obedience. She was the mother of God. She is the daughter of God.
The pride of the human race.
She is the pride of human race.
Purity.
Purity, chastity, queen, serving, every single excellent role she played. And for every single one of you young ladies, who I'm very proud of every single one of you, please remember that your model is Saint Mary. Even us men look at Saint Mary we would love to be at her feet. A woman should be so proud that God created her and designed her in such a way that angels and archangels look at her and say, she is going one day to carry in her womb a child that could inherit the kingdom of God. What type of honor more than this of any creature is in this earth? So for you, young girl, and for you, young lady, be proud. Look for your role, insist on you doing that role, and nothing less than your role. Because as Solomon said, a virtuous wife is like a crown and her husband. A crown. No, what?
A virtuous wife is her husband's crown.
Let me repeat that. As Solomon said, the virtuous woman is her husband's crown. So every single one of you young ladies, look that one day you will be that crown. And don't ever let the media or the people underestimate the role you could play in friendship, in marriage, in work, or even in church. I hope you enjoyed this episode of our show, Anything Goes. Until next time, have a blessed time, and thank you.